ask her to change the decision right away, then I don't think we're doing her any favors. The point is that people don't think before they type. And if you put a 24 or 12-hour buffer there, there's at least a chance they will say their idea to someone else during that amount of time who can talk some sense into them.
The next question is it a big enough issue to actually merit basically coding the site? Because that would require the code it differently. And I personally say it's not. And I think actually trying to offer it to Kern might...
Have you written code before?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Well, this one seems to me like code I could write in an afternoon.
Well, either way...
Code.
Go ahead. Problem with that is the fact that, as I'm sure all the ranks have known by now, Kern does not like a lot of details, and I really doubt he'd want to have to read the description and details of every single advice that goes up. I think that
I agree with that. There's no way he'll go for that.
We don't want to go that route. That's a very bad route to go. Once again,
he had to do it for Daydream.
What's that?
He had to do it for Daydream because he couldn't deal with the short options anymore.
Well, there is the fact...
I'm getting lost.
Daydream is over 1,000 members, I'm just saying. But yeah, that is a good point. However, although I have to make another note, is that Daydream, the advices only come from Slave Masters, though. So that's another note. But that's another kind of off topic. I don't think it's that bad, honestly. That's what we do, and they all do, is that we have basically told all our members, do not post advice and do not vote, and to, at the very least, come together and discuss what you're going to post or vote or whatever, because we don't want votes wasted and we don't want worthless advice. We want things that are well thought out. So that's kind of the big thing we're on right now.
We just want people to have a brain.
Basically.
Hey, that's good on you, and that'll solve a lot of problems, within your little group there.
The biggest thing is, however, do make note that we do like the last vote we did it on the first day. However, I can guarantee you, we talked in Skype for about 5 hours. So, yeah, I think the factions. I don't think the factions is going to stop it, but it's certainly going to weather it down.
See, the problem is, correct me if I'm wrong here, or someone who's been with PTP longer than I have, but every so often you manage to educate the members, and then you get a crop of new ones who need to all be taught again from zero. They don't know what the older generation knows or has learned about the game.
Oh, that's exactly what happens.
No matter what we do, we're going to get new guys who aren't going to know what's going on. But if you put
and not everybody is going to join a faction.
Right.
Yeah.
If you put something like a 12-hour cooldown in place, then that's everybody, whether you're new or old. And they don't have to listen to anyone in order to have it imposed upon them. I'm not saying it's the only route to go, but it does avoid some of these other issues. Who's going to camp the internet for 12 hours to post advice first? We're not talking about that kind of bad number.
However, I do say that most of the time, the options, while they aren't exactly incredibly thought out, they are full. The soliciting offer going up within about an hour. I completely saw that coming. The biggest thing, though, is for this one, I think before we go do anything as drastic as a 12 or 24-hour ban, I do think it is kind of a drastic thing to do, is that we should wait and see how the factions have affected the votes and see if it'll stop any of the knee-jerk reactions we get. We still got some, mind you. However, we have to remember that was also during the chaos of the factions being introduced.
You're relating that to faction chaos? Because we've had those since I joined.
Well, we got the factions around the same time the Leader Archive was released, is what I'm saying. So there was still a lot of people joining factions, creating factions, just crazily. So it was a little bit mixed. So we still got a lot of those knee-jerk reactions, and we got a lot less of discussion from the factions because people were still disorganized.
But I don't think that had anything to do with the fact that we've had those knee-jerk reactions for as long as I've been playing the game. Factions aren't related to that.
What I was saying is the fact that I think the factions are a key thing to help avoid the knee-jerk reactions. However, because it was released around the same time as the Leader Archive, we didn't get to see any of the potential of the factions in the organization, is what I'm saying. And the chaos did lend to it, is what I'm saying. It's fine.
Yeah, maybe so, maybe not. We'll see.
Well, there's always been a problem with the advices, and there always will be. People who feel strongly about something who put it up right away before they think. Now, there has been some improvement, but it is something that I think is going to be a lasting issue. I don't see it going away anytime soon.
I don't either.
Yeah, gotta agree. It's not too much. Anything we can think of to do, I don't think it's going to make a major prevention. Some, but not a lot. Exactly. I totally
Just
agree. I mean,
postponing the
and if it is indeed the fact that people are jumping in to get an appearance, the wisdom of the actual advice is going to matter a lot less to them.
So what it then becomes is a responsibility of the older members to keep things in line, to keep the projects moving forward, for progress to be made. But again, that pretty much is self-explanatory. Now, the other thing I'm worried about is factions forgetting about the other clan members, just becoming vote units upon themselves, and really taking away from that sense of community that was there before.
Do you think we had a sense of community before?
To some degree. Okay, well, maybe not the full sense, but everybody had the same equal vote. You get the factions going, people can start making group decisions, and that's great, but I think we're going to see a severe drop in the voting then.
Well, this is still a look-and-see kind of thing. I mean, this is our first voting with the factions, so we're going to have to take a look and see how it goes. I don't think we're going to know much until after a few weeks of voting, in my personal opinion.
No, we're not going to be able to make any conclusions until we actually, as you said, Nas, see the data, see the results. We can make assumptions all day, but in the end, we'll see it, we'll work with it,